The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you. The greatest danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemicals. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. The least of things with the meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. The world is not so much in need of better ideas as better men who will put them into action. The shadow is a moral problem that the ego refuses to solve. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The greatest gift of life is experience. The only thing that will cure the world is love. The truth is, the unconscious is not something on the side, but rather includes the whole of conscious existence. The unconscious mind is the greatest source of creative power. The individuation process is the process of becoming whole. The individuation process is the supreme realization of the self. The individuation process is a lifelong journey. The individuation process is the process of becoming who you truly are. The anima is the feminine side of the male psyche. The animus is the masculine side of the female psyche. The archetype is a primordial image or pattern that exists in the collective unconscious. The archetype is a universal symbol that is present in all cultures. The archetype is a powerful force that can influence our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The archetype is a source of creativity and inspiration. The archetype is a powerful tool for self-transformation. The collective unconscious is the reservoir of all human experience. The collective unconscious is the source of the archetypes. The collective unconscious is the bridge between the individual and the universal. The collective unconscious is a powerful force that can influence our lives. The ego is the center of consciousness. The ego is the mediator between the conscious and unconscious mind. The ego is the defender of consciousness. The ego is the source of our identity. The ego is necessary for survival and well-being. The persona is the social mask that we wear in public. The persona is a necessary part of life. The persona is a way to protect ourselves from the world. The persona can also be a way to hide our true selves. The shadow is the dark side of the personality. The shadow contains all of the qualities that we find unacceptable in ourselves. The shadow is a source of creativity and power. The shadow is also a source of anxiety and fear. It is important to integrate the shadow into our conscious personality. The self is the totality of the personality. The self is the goal of the individuation process. The self is the center of the psyche. The self is the source of meaning and purpose in life. The self is the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind.